The best revenge is to be unlike those who hurt you. Did you know that every day, in almost every interaction, there's an invisible battlefield? It's the hidden struggle between manipulation and authenticity, where our minds and hearts are the ultimate prize. This isn't just something from movies or novels, it's something we face daily, whether in our offices, homes, or even through the interactions we have on our phones. Now, imagine navigating this battlefield with the wisdom of the Stoics, the ancient philosophers who understood the power of the mind and how to protect it. They didn't just teach us how to survive, but how to thrive in the chaos of life by staying rooted in our inner citadel, our core of reason and virtue. In today's world, where manipulation can show up in countless ways, it's crucial to apply Stoic wisdom to recognize these tactics and protect ourselves. Stay with me as we dive deep into modern manipulations that challenge our Stoicism, and explore how we can use ancient philosophies to guard our minds and live with greater purpose. This isn't just about avoiding the traps. It's about creating a life full of authenticity, resilience, and true freedom. If you've ever felt plagued, overwhelmed, or confused by others' actions, then you're in the right place. Let's take this journey of empowerment together, guided by the timeless wisdom of the Stoics, and transform how we engage with the world around us. But before we start, I'd love to ask a small favor. Hit that subscribe button. It's a small action for you, but a big support for us. Also, don't skip any part of this video. You're here because you're different. You're not just trying to navigate the complexities of human interaction. You're determined to understand and master them. Stick with me and let's unlock these insights together. Essential manipulation tactics you must recognize and understand. 1. The art of triangulation. Imagine you and your best friend have always been close, and then, out of nowhere, a third person enters the scene. Suddenly, your friend starts sharing your private thoughts, or, worse, twisting your words to create conflict between you. It feels like a playground drama, but the stakes are much higher now. As adults, the emotional fallout can be severe, leading you to question your judgments, your friendships, and even your reality. In these situations, the Stoic approach is about observing the event with detachment. Recognize the manipulation for what it is and don't let it disturb your inner peace. You can't control others' actions, but you can control how you respond. Stoic wisdom teaches the importance of direct communication. Approach the people involved with honesty and openness. Often, bringing things into the light can dissipate the shadows of manipulation. 2. The double bind. In real life, the double bind is a psychological trap where you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Every decision you make seems to lead to criticism or disappointment, leaving you in a perpetual cycle of wrong choices. A common example is when you're encouraged to speak your mind, but once you do, you're criticized for being too outspoken. The Stoic response to this is understanding the dichotomy of control, what you can control and what you cannot. You can control your actions, responses, and integrity, but others' reactions are outside your control. So when you face a double bind, remember that your worth isn't defined by the reactions of others. It's about staying true to your integrity and acting with authenticity. Approach the situation calmly and seek clarity. If things don't improve, focus inward, maintain your ethical standards, and move forward with confidence. 3. Projection, a sneaky tactic you need to spot. Projection can be one of the most deceptive tactics because it doesn't just confuse you, it makes you question your own actions and feelings. For example, if someone feels guilty about their own dishonesty, they may accuse you of being the liar. Or if they struggle with jealousy, they might claim that you're the one who can't be trusted. Essentially, it's a defense mechanism, a way of avoiding their own uncomfortable truths by shifting the blame onto you. Stoicism encourages us to pause and question these accusations. Are they a true reflection of who we are, or are they just someone else's unresolved issues projected onto us? By staying grounded in our sense of self and holding firm to our truth, we can deflect these baseless projections without letting them disturb our peace of mind. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to approach others' flaws with compassion and understanding. When we recognize projection for what it is, a sign of internal conflict in the other person, we can respond, not with anger or defensiveness, but with patience and empathy. This doesn't mean we accept the projections as fact, but rather we address them calmly and, when necessary, invite the person to reflect on their own behavior. The Stoic approach also involves setting clear boundaries. We are responsible for our own actions, integrity, and responses, but we are not responsible for carrying the emotional baggage others try to dump on us. Understanding this distinction is essential for protecting our emotional well-being when dealing with projection. When someone projects their issues onto us, it's a clear signal to reinforce those boundaries and protect our mental space. 4. Time pressure, the urgency trap. This manipulation tactic can show up anywhere from sales to relationships and even the workplace. In sales, it's the limited time offer pushing you to make a quick decision. In relationships, it could be a partner demanding a faster commitment than you're ready for. At work, it may take the form of unreasonable deadlines that force you to make decisions without enough time or information. One of the core Stoic principles is understanding the dichotomy of control, knowing what we can control and what we cannot. When faced with time pressure, remember that while we can't always control external demands, we can control how we respond to them. Take a moment to breathe, step back, and approach the situation with the clarity and rationality Stoicism advocates. Seneca emphasized that time is our most valuable resource, but the Stoic mindset reminds us that the quality of our decisions is more important than the speed with which we make them. So when someone rushes you, remember that the urgency is often artificial, and real opportunities, real friends, and authentic decisions will give you the time you need to choose wisely. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to focus on the present moment and act with purpose. By staying calm and resisting the pressure of urgency, we can make decisions that reflect our true selves and values. The Stoic approach also calls for courage, the courage to say no, ask for more time, and stand firm in our decisions, even when others try to impose their sense of urgency on us. 5. Inconsistency, the emotional roller coaster. Inconsistency in someone's behavior can be incredibly destabilizing. As humans, we crave stability and predictability, especially in relationships. So when someone's behavior swings from warm and loving to distant and cold, it triggers a sense of unease. We end up walking on eggshells, trying to figure out what's going on, while constantly seeking their approval or affection. The Stoics teach us that our peace of mind shouldn't depend on others' moods or actions. Seneca advised that we should anchor our happiness in our own virtue and reason, not in external validation. Epictetus reminded us that we have the power to choose our responses to external events. When faced with inconsistency, we can choose to stay grounded, reminding ourselves that the only thing we truly control is our own thoughts and actions. This doesn't mean we stop caring about how others treat us. It simply means we don't allow their fluctuating behavior to dictate our emotional state. Stoicism helps us develop a sense of self-worth independent of others' approval. Marcus Aurelius encourages us to find tranquility within ourselves, regardless of the chaos around us. Moreover, Stoicism teaches us the importance of clear communication and setting boundaries. If someone is being inconsistent, it may be a sign that we need to express our needs and expectations more clearly. Practicing the virtues of courage and justice, being brave enough to address the issue and fair enough to do so with respect, can go a long way in handling inconsistency. 6. Emotional blackmail, the manipulation of your feelings. Imagine someone taking your raw, real emotions, those feelings that make you who you are, and using them as leverage against you. Emotional blackmail forces you to sacrifice your values, well-being, or needs in exchange for emotional relief. It's a deep form of manipulation that takes advantage of your human capacity to feel. Emotional blackmail comes in many forms: guilt-tripping, fear-mongering, obligation, and shaming. It's a tactic that preys on our need to be seen as good, caring individuals, using our vulnerabilities against us. But here's the truth. Real love and respect don't come with strings attached. They don't require you to compromise your core beliefs or well-being for someone else's benefit. When faced with emotional blackmail, Stoicism teaches us to maintain our integrity and stand firm in our values. We must recognize that no one has the right to manipulate our emotions to get what they want. It's essential to set boundaries and refuse to let anyone control us through fear, guilt, or shame. The Stoic approach empowers us to act with courage and justice, protecting our emotional well-being while responding with compassion and firmness. 7. Desires and Stoicism, controlling our responses. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control the actions or demands of others, we always have control over how we respond. We can choose not to play their game. Marcus Aurelius emphasizes the importance of living in alignment with nature, which includes staying true to our own character. When someone attempts to use emotional blackmail against us, they are asking us to betray our own nature, to compromise our values and integrity for their desires. The Stoic response is simple yet profound. We stand firm in our principles, act with virtue, and preserve our inner peace, no matter the external pressures. Stoicism also encourages us to approach ourselves with compassion, recognizing that it's okay to feel upset or conflicted. However, this does not mean we must act on these feelings. It's equally important to extend empathy to the person trying to manipulate us, understanding that their actions are likely driven by their own pain or unmet need. Yet, understanding does not mean compliance. We can offer compassion without sacrificing our autonomy. 8. Gaslighting, trusting your own reality. Gaslighting is not just a disagreement, it's a manipulative attempt to make you question your very sense of reality. It's a subtle yet dangerous tactic that can shake your confidence, making you doubt your own memory, sanity, and truth. Gaslighting can take many forms: denying facts you know to be true, contradicting your emotions, or dismissing your concerns as irrational. The goal of gaslighting is always the same: to erode your trust in your own experiences, making you more reliant on the manipulator's version of reality. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to remain steadfast in the face of external turmoil. He teaches us to trust our perceptions and return to our internal citadel, our sanctuary of reason and peace, where no external words can disturb us. Stoicism also encourages constant self-reflection, not out of doubt, but out of clarity. This allows us to discern between legitimate self-examination and the external imposition of doubt. By deeply knowing ourselves and our thoughts, we can recognize when our reality is being unfairly challenged. The Stoic approach to gaslighting is not to become impervious to manipulation, but to recognize it for what it is and attempt to destabilize us. We respond with the strength of our internal fortitude, standing firm in our truth and trusting our own perceptions, no matter how much someone tries to convince us otherwise. 9. False social approval, staying true to yourself. This manipulation tactic plays on our natural desire to fit in, to belong to the tribe. It whispers in our ear that to be accepted, we must follow the crowd, even when our gut tells us otherwise. But just because everyone is doing it doesn't make it right. False social approval seeks to sway our actions and opinions by exploiting our need for social conformity. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to act in harmony with nature, particularly our own nature. When faced with false social approval, his teachings remind us that our actions should be in line with our inner virtues, not with the fleeting whims of societal consensus. We must ask ourselves, is this action virtuous? Does it contribute to the common good? Is it true to who I really am? Stoicism also emphasizes the power of ataraxia, inner peace achieved by living in accordance with reason. This concept is especially relevant when confronting false social approval. By staying true to our reasoned judgments and not being swayed by what everyone else is doing, we preserve our inner peace. This doesn't mean we reject society or ignore social norms, but we must critically assess their value and impact on our lives, making conscious decisions about which norms we choose to follow. Additionally, Stoic premeditation, visualizing challenges and preparing ourselves mentally, can help us anticipate situations where false social approval might be used to manipulate us. By fortifying our minds and rehearsing our commitment to acting with integrity, we become better equipped to stay true to ourselves, no matter what the crowd is doing. 10. Concealment of information, the hidden puzzle pieces. Imagine eagerly trying to solve a puzzle, only to realize that half of the pieces are missing. No matter how hard you try, you can't complete the picture. This frustration is similar to what happens when key information is deliberately concealed from you. It's a manipulation tactic that skews your perception, preventing you from seeing the full truth and ultimately influencing your decisions based on incomplete data. The concealment of information can happen in various contexts, whether it's someone withholding emotions in a relationship, a lack of transparency in the workplace, or the suppression of facts in larger societal or political discussions. This tactic plays on our natural desire to understand the world around us. When we are kept in the dark, it leads to confusion, misunderstandings, and misguided decisions. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, warned against hasty judgments and decisions made without full understanding. His advice was clear: be patient, ask questions, and seek out as much information as possible before forming conclusions or making decisions. This doesn't mean we should become paralyzed by indecision, but we must acknowledge the incomplete nature of our understanding and move forward with a thoughtful, reasoned approach. Marcus Aurelius also emphasized the value of inner wisdom and the relentless pursuit of truth. When faced with concealed information, we are called to tap into our inner resources, our reason and judgment. We should question the gaps in our knowledge and seek out additional sources to complete the picture. This pursuit isn't just about making better decisions, but about aligning ourselves with Stoic principles of truth and living in accordance with nature. 11. Fear attachment. Manipulating through fear. Fear attachment is a powerful form of manipulation that leverages our most primal instincts, fear. It uses scare tactics to control your actions by attaching a terrifying outcome to any choice other than compliance. This manipulation can manifest in various situations. In relationships, where someone might say, if you leave, you'll never find anyone like me, or in professional environments, where you might be told, do this, or your career here is over. This tactic creates a scenario where fear, rather than rational judgment, becomes the driving force behind your decisions. Stoicism teaches us that fear, like all emotions, is not an accurate reflection of reality, but a perception that can be examined, understood, and ultimately controlled. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that our rational mind holds the key to maintaining equanimity in the face of external disturbances, including fear-based manipulation. He encourages us to return to our inner citadel, our place of reason and virtue, where we can find the clarity and strength to stand firm in our decisions, unaffected by the external noise and unfounded threats. As we close this chapter of our Stoic journey, remember that in the complex fabric of human interactions, manipulation may weave its threads around us. However, it is the strength of our character, the clarity of our reason, and the steadfastness of our virtue that determine the pattern of our lives. I invite you to watch one of the suggested videos on the screen to continue this conversation, dive deeper into the wisdom of the Stoics, and cultivate a life filled with virtue, resilience, and profound peace. Thank you for walking this path with me today and being an integral part of the Stoic Strength. See you soon.